Welcome along to RaceSpot Race Day here on iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV. We're coming to you from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. And well, later on we will be bringing you live action of round 3 of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. But first, it's the first part of RaceSpot Race Day, and it's the Formula Renaults, and it's coming up right after this.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green!
Welcome back to RaceSpot Race Day here on iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV. I'm Paul Smith. Alongside me is Johnny Simon with Hugo Lewis in the control room, running the cameras. And well, we've got round 3 coming up of the RaceSpot Race Day, and it is the Formula Renaults to start off here. And well, looking at the championship so far, it is Simon Maria Massena who's leading that championship by 8 points ahead of Aurélien Talmor, with Alex Sadler in 3rd place. Winner last time out, of course, was Joni Silvasti. And well, he is back once again for another attempt at a race win. But at the moment, Johnny, beautiful circuit here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and well, it always produces some excellent racing around here.
It does. I love this circuit. Good evening, everybody. And Montreal, exquisite, brilliant. You've got tight corners as well. Lots of very middle of the speed corners. So you're looking at the anti-roll bar here is so important to set up on this Formula Renault. Good overtaking spots into the second corner. You've got the long back straight as well to help aid the Formula Renaults. But most importantly as well, it's about the curb usage. If you can keep the car stable over those curbs, straighten up the car in time, and have the rear traction to just pedal and scream out of each corner, you'll be fine around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which is 4.3 kilometers in length, 2.7 miles, 13 turns, Paul, and a good little challenge for these drivers now in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got qualifying going on at the moment, and it is at the moment Joni Silvasti, race winner last time out at Sebring, who is currently sitting on that pole position by 2/100ths of a second ahead of race 1 winner Simon Maria Massena. Aurélien Talmor, the guy in 2nd place in the championship, is in 3rd, with Alex Sadler in 4th place at the moment. 20-car grid, 20-car field so far then for today's race. We're going to be some intense racing going on here, Johnny. And well, as we will look at Joni Silvasti, getting that exit at that final hairpin is really crucial as you're heading down that back straight.
It is, so now he's going to have a bit of a break for himself across this long straight. Any ring car adjustments, adjusting the brake bias if he can be bothered doing that. And he'll set himself up for the final chicane. He did win last race, so 100% success rate. He wasn't here for round 1 at Interlagos, and here you go. Same brake marker you've used the whole weekend, and he bounces over the curbs, aborts the lap, Paul, and that would have been his final lap for qualifying, but that's it. His session's over. He's used up all his 4 laps.
Marceno, he's coming round the final chicane now, right up to the wall of champions. You got to use every inch of this track as you're going along here. He's going to come across the line now. Does he improve? No, he does not. So Marceno, he's going to be looking to start in that second place. Oleg Foka heading down to the final chicane now as well. Looking at and into the wall actually. Round he goes into the barrier, and it's that wall of champions, Johnny. It can catch people out like that.
Yeah, geez. So if he did complete the lap, it wouldn't have counted anyway, and that's what you saw with Marceno there. You touch the wall, the lap is invalidated, so automatically those 2 out of the session. Cuoco with, a medical bill to pay as well with that, I assume, before the race.
I'll tell you what, he uses the VR headset. He'll certainly not be feeling well after after doing that. So definitely a big moment for him. Alex Sadler just going to come across the line right now to set his final time, and it's a good time. It moves him up a position, up into 3rd place on qualifying.
And he's been underrated this season in the Formula Renault. Alex Sadler, who's doesn't get the praise he deserves. He's had a great start to the season. Puts himself onto 3rd as well. That's so important because you look at who's starting where on the grid, and it's going to be interesting into turn 2. But anyway, we'll look at the grid soon, Paul, as we now conclude qualifying.
Yeah, we've just got a few more, about half a minute left in qualifying. Aurelien Tallman is coming out that final chicane now and heading down to that timing line. Will he improve his final lap time? He goes across the line. No, he does not. He doesn't improve it. Scott McIntyre, he doesn't improve either. So a couple of disasters there, and Scott Newton, I think, is going to run out of time here. As the clock ticks down, Neil de Guzman coming across the line. Will he set a good lap time? The answer is, well, no, he doesn't improve his lap time there. And, well, that clock will tick down to 0. So we are out, and this then will be your qualifying order. And it is Joni Silvasti who is on pole position by 2/100ths of a second ahead of Simon Maria Marceno, the 2 race winners of the start of this season. Alex Sadler and Aurelien Tallman then in row 2. Row 3 is Richard Arnaud and Tanguy Pedrazzoli with Carlos Iovaiza and Scott Newton at 7th and 8th. Oleg Foka and Scott McIntyre 9th and 10th. Then McFadden, Estorino, Vitakunas, Garrison, Berzina, Longoni, Antolini. Oh my goodness, I'm having a terrible day today so far. John Godfrey, Yuka Savati, and Neil de Guzman rounds out this 20-car grid here, Johnny. And, well, with time is counting down, and we're getting all set here for this race as we will look then at the front of your field. And, well, those guys at the front just waiting patiently for the rest of the field to come along here. And Johnny, just quick thoughts. Turn 1, turn 2, always a bit of a tough test at the start of the race. Yeah,
it's a tough challenge because it tightens up, but not the same challenge you have with the names before the grid. That is a challenge and a half. But anyway, these guys bottlenecking into turn 1 and 2. You always see it. You saw in the World Championship Grand Prix Series last year, which we'll talk about obviously later on in the event. Mitchell de Jong from pole had a poor getaway. 2nd and 3rd jumped him into turn 1. So the getaway is important, reaction time too. But as you said, it will bottleneck, and you don't want to be going 3 wide into that second corner because you could really be causing an incident if you get it wrong.
Okay, so getting ready then for the start of this race. Drivers patiently waiting on the grid here, and then you'll soon hear the engine notes rise here. And, well, how many will make it through this turn 1? Hopefully everyone will make it through, and we should have a good race. But the engine notes rise now. They're going to look to the gantry. The green light is on. Away we go then for 25 minutes. Around second, Gilles Villeneuve, and it's a good start there from Silvestres. They're heading down towards turn 1. And Simon Marceno not getting the best of starts, but manages to hook it into second place. Everyone working the way through turn 1 and 2 now, and everybody keeping it clean so far. Heading heading down towards the chicane now, and well, through they go. We've got a little bit too wide for the back, and got a little bit of rubbing with the wall as well. That's going to be a key thing with the race along here. We're going to be rubbing walls. We're going to be using as much of that track as possible. Antolin has had an instant there. We'll have to see if we can try have a look at that in a moment, but he's gone around. We're going to he's got a car as well. Vatskunas had an instant as well into the chicane, the first chicane. But anyway, down through towards the through the end of the second sector now, heading towards the hairpin. And it's important for Marceno to not let Silvestri to get away. These two, of course, were battling it out at Sebring last time out. Through the hairpin they go. There's a little bit of a dive going on into the hairpin. Everybody keeping it clean though. Everybody keeping it out of the walls and out of each other. But now Silvestri is going to try to try and break the draft here as they're going down the back straight as they head down towards the final two corners, the chicane at the end of the lap. Silvestri just jinking it left and right, and back to the left, taking his racing line. Marceno down the inside takes the lead there. Will he hold it though? He's made a mistake and round he goes. Marceno, round he goes into the runoff area. He's back up and running again. That's a disaster for him. He's dropped down to 12th place so far, Johnny, who recovers.
Yeah, the difficult part about the final chicane section is you're up the inside, you can't see a normal brake marker, so you have to have a brake marker on the left and right hand side so you can see it in both situations, and that really caught Marceno unaware, and that may release Silvestri into an easy win. Back to the start off the grid, Aurelien Talmont there we started from 4th anyway. Brilliant getaway off the line. Almost had no wheel spin. I think it was the best start I saw from the whole grid, the whole 20-car grid, and obviously up into P3 because of that. So right now, he promotes himself to P2 with that spin as we look at the replay of the beginning of the race.
Yeah, good start for everybody. Just a little instant down at that first chicane, and Neil de Guzman at the end of the first lap has put it into the wall, heading down towards turn 1. So he's sat in the pits. He's taking a tour back to the pits, but we're heading down towards the hairpin. As the start was a bit intense, but everybody behaved themselves, was able to get going. Now Silvestri is out the hairpin. He's got a good run out that hairpin as well, Johnny, and Aurelien Talmont is trying his best to just stay in that draft, stay in that slipstream, but well, he's been a lot quicker as Silvestri through this week, as John Godfrey's had a little instant down at the hairpin. He's back up and running though. He's running slow out that hairpin. He obviously just had a little bit of a spin possibly, and well, he was just slow out the hairpin with John Godfrey. A little contact, and around he goes, back up and running though. But Silvestri, we saw him last time, Johnny, at Sebring. Once he was able to make that breakaway, he was then just able to just carry on and just power on through to the end of the race.
Yeah, well, not this round anyway at Montreal, as Talmont is staying very close. Has a poor exit out of that first chicane there. He caught a bit of the grass up the inside, so that slowed him down. A couple tenths lost. And most importantly, a lot of drivers think you've got to try and gain time to the driver in front. In my opinion, if you're pushing as hard as you can, you should just be driving as you normally do. And if you're not quick enough, well, then you're not going to have any chance of passing him anyway. So just keep doing what you're doing. Drive at your own best pace. And Talmont right now, I think if he pushes too hard, he'll make more mistakes like we saw at that first chicane, which are very costly indeed.
Well, Talmont could actually end up looking in his mirrors if he's not careful, because Alex Sadler is right up with him as well. Talmont just locking that front brake a little bit. It doesn't affect it too much into there. If you just very so slightly lock the brake, it's if you just absolutely just plumes of smoke coming off the tyre, that's when it really affects us. But now going down the straight, down that back straightaway, using the slipstream once again, keeping in that draft. And it's important as a draft around here, but it's not actually that strong for these cars. Not as much aerodynamics as you'll see later on with the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series with the McLarens, but definitely as they go across the line once again, starting lap 4 of this race. It is Silvestri in the lead with Talmont second, Alex Sadler in third, Richard Arnaud in 4th place with Yarviza in 5th place, Pedro Zilli in 6th place, Scott Newton 7th, Oleg Foka 8th, Scott McIntyre in 9th, and our early contender in 10th place, Marceno in 2nd place. And look at this now, Sadler and Talmont side by side. They're heading down towards the second chicane. Will Sadler make that move stick? It's a tough move to hold around the outside, and Sadler has made it work. He's got through, and now he's got his eyes looking forward, but straight away, Talmon, Johnny, is looking desperate. He wants that place back again, and all this fighting is allowing Silvestri to move away.
And that was a brilliant exit by Sadler too, because he was not on the racing line, so we had not that much rubber around the outside there. So brilliant exit out of the second chicane, and guess where that mistake was made by Talmon? First chicane again in the mid part of it, so that's where he made the mistake the earlier lap. Pretty sometimes you come back to the same corner and it haunts you because you know you're not perfect there the lap before, and it's a race. If you make a mistake, you can't just exit to the pits and practice again.
Pedrozzoli made the move down the inside of the hairpin on Yarviza, but Yarviza is trying to get that place back again as they're going down the back straight. And well, look ahead, and it's Talmon switching positions once again with Sadler, and Talmon makes it stick. But those two, I have a feeling, are going to be switching places, and all the while, oh, we got contact further back. Pedrozzoli, he's off. What on earth happened there? Down into the chicane, there's a little bit of contact on corner entry, and around he goes. Oh, and the unfortunate person to get involved in that was Scott Newton.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go, and he just lost the car into braking too. He tried to avoid it. Oh, there you go. Final chicane can get really scruffy in the early laps, and Scott Newton doesn't have a rear wing either. I think that's his race pretty much done and dusted. Well, I don't know what else to say, Paul. Clumsy incident.
Well, it was a bit clumsy, was that? Yes, it was the banging wheels going into the chicane that started it all. Really unsettled the two cars, and then, yeah, as you saw, around he went, and, well, they carry on now. Pedrozzoli in the pits. Scott Newton, the unfortunate innocent party in that, is at the back of the field. But, well, looking here, Yarviza and Olakvoka, they're pretty close. They're battling away for 5th place. Alex Sadler, though, all over the back on the rear of Aurelian Talmon. Now, with a race like this, it's a 25-minute race here, Johnny. Do you just sit back and wait for the opportunity, or do you and then sort of go for it towards the end of the race, or do you just go for it now and then try and defend?
Well, it's Montreal. I mean, I'd take it early, because if you are quick enough to get past, then you're quick enough to break away at the same time too. The draft isn't so crucial around here, and I mean, you can tell by the fact that overtaking is not easy. Most of the overtakes happen towards the braking zone anyway, and then even when that happens, guys like Pedrozzoli, they get too close and they make mistakes. I think it's perfect right now. So get the move done early. Don't wait till the end of the race for sure. I am trying to watch the gaps now between P1 to P2, and we spoke about how Silvestri broke away at Sebring. Look at this again. He's got that advantage. Can they catch up to him? Because if these two fight even more, they're going to lose maybe half a second, 1 second a lap every single battle they have.
Well, this is it. This is where you've got to play a bit of, cat and mouse, and maybe sort of think, hang on a second, let's work together, let's move ourselves forward, using the draft to help yourselves move forward, kind of like in an oval race, using the draft to help each other, pull each other forward, and then be able to challenge the leader. But at the moment, the leader's 3 seconds ahead here of the second and third place battle of Talmon and Sadler as they're heading down to that hairpin once again. And you would just think that maybe sort of use a bit of common sense. Oh wait a minute, I used common sense then. Maybe work together and pull yourselves forward to be able to put that battle in, because at the moment Silvestri has got it nice and easy so far. As looking further down, Marceno, he's gone down to 12th place. He's recovering up to 7th place so far. Then his next target is Olakvoka. Yeah,
well, another battle here happening as well on the straight. Estranino and McFadden. Hopefully this doesn't result in wheel contact again. Plenty of room for the two of them. McFadden goes for the outside, deep on the brakes is Estefano, and whoa, goodness me. He got that car stopped in time pretty well, but here's round 2 of the battle as McFadden has the draft across the main straight.
Yeah, going down the main straight. It's really tough to make the move stick, though, as he dives to the inside. Does McFadden of turn 1, and contact was made. It was almost inevitable, really, was that. But Estorino, he's having to cut across. He's going to have to serve a slowdown penalty, and he may have some damage on that car. I would have thought McFadden would have a little bit of damage as well. Yeah, he does. His front wing has slightly damaged as well. He's up to 9th for the moment, but a bit of a clumsy move there. Not the best one there, really.
I'll tell you what, the initial move with the dummy and the fake was pretty good. It's just he couldn't get the car stopped on the apex. And Estornino, as I said, that second corner and at the start of the race when it bottlenecks, it's every single battle you have, it's basically only 2 cars can go through as Talmon brushes the wall as well as we have a look.
Yeah,
he's
carrying damage. That's what he is now. And that's going to be slowing him down. It considerably slows the car down, does any damage to the aerodynamics, and that's what he's got with the front wing there, John.
Yeah, and that happened that's at the 3rd chicane, so on the exit. And that was a pretty hefty brush of the wall too. So anyway, we'll see how he goes.
Oh, the Kvoka, he's looking, darting left and right. Visa going defensive, and well, Kvoka looking down the inside into the chicane. Going to hold back for the time being. And here comes Marceno now. He's going to try and tag onto the back of these. It's a 3-car train now for 5th place here. And Marceno, well, he's trying everything he can to regain positions. Kvoka in the meantime loses control of the car, almost drifts it round the first corner. In fact, he does. Well held there. That could have been a lot worse then. On the losers, 1 position there. But my goodness, that was heart in the mouth moment there for Marceno, seeing a car spinning round like that, Johnny.
Yeah, I've done that before too at turn 2. The rears lock up there so easily, so he's got a lot of rear bias on that car, you can tell. It helps with the rest of the racetrack, but if you have too much, the corner it will really come out on the wash worst is that corner we saw Quirker spun. So that's really caught him unaware. Good news is he didn't touch the wall. He's got no damage. He can continue. 13 minutes left. Let's push.
Yeah, absolutely. As they get carrying on now towards the hairpin. This battle still going on for 2nd place. Really, the field's spread out a little bit now. Well, a couple of battles going on track here. You've got this battle for 2nd place between Talmon and Sattler, although Sattler doesn't get the best exit out that hairpin. He's really struggling with the car at that hairpin, in fact. And looking further down as well, McFadden now has got Dennis Guerrerson battling out for 9th place between those two. And you've also got a 3-car train, Estorino, who's made it back up into 12th place. Longoni and Savati as well, all battling out for that 12th place. McFadden going defensive here, down towards the chicane. And, well, look at the superior speed that Garrison was able to carry as it went down into that chicane there.
Yeah, up to 240 kilometers an hour here in the Formula Renault. That's the speed trap. Basically, that's what Grayson was also carrying into the final corner. He was about a millimeter, I'd say a millimeter more wrong. He would have bounced over that final chicane, which is fair to say, Paul. He'd probably want to be a champion or something because he would have crashed right into the wall. I do like right now from this race the pressure Alex Sadler's putting on Talmon for P2. Problem is he can't get past. I'm not trying to sound like Murray Walker like we did 2 weeks ago, but you know, you got to get past sometime soon. I doubt he's holding back on purpose, because if he was, he wouldn't be consistently 6/10 back. But we'll see how we go. There's 11 minutes left. It's not race over. He's just going to maintain the draft. People underrate that. Every single straight and every corner, even if the straight is only a 4-second full throttle zone, stay in the slipstream, and it can make a huge difference.
McCann, words of wisdom there, Johnny Simon. Coss will be working on the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series broadcast later on for you, but we're in the Formula Renault Sim Cup here at the moment on iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV. 11 minutes left in this race. Joni Savasti is in the lead by 3.7 seconds ahead of Aurelien Talmon, who's still battling away with Alex Sadler, who's in 3rd place. Richard Arnaud in 4th with Corollis Yarveza in 5th place. Simon Maria Marceno now in 6th place, and he's really putting the pressure on Yarveza as they're going through turn number 2, heading down towards that first chicane. And Marceno looking a bit dangerous here. He's making himself known in the mirrors in front, and well, they're through the go, and still heading towards that second chicane. Really tough place to overtake here, but we have seen it done here earlier on in this race, Johnny.
Yeah, the reason why you can't do it is because you have to trail brake and turn in at the same time in a way, and a lot of drivers sometimes get caught unaware there. Here's Marceno though. He's going to have to go to the outside line into the chicane, possibly. Look at Yarveza. That was confusing. Looked like he was going to hug the inside, and then Marcena had nowhere to go there as he tried to make a move, and he's not going to be able to get this done into the hairpin. Last time out on the back straight, Marcena was swerving, trying to maintain the slipstream of Yalveza. And if you try to defend that aggressively, you know you're on the back foot. So I'd say all the confidence right now is with Simona Marcena.
Yeah, Marcena then, good exit out that hairpin. He's going to carry that speed now down the straight. He's in the slipstream. He's right up underneath the gearbox of Yalveza. And Yalveza, do you know what? He's not even going to fight this one. He's going to let him go past because he realizes if I get the slipstream down the first pit straight and possibly have the chance of making a move or even force a mistake out of Marcena, as we saw on the opening lap as they go down over the timing line there. Marcena up to 5th place, already pulled out a 0.4 of a second gap out of that final chicane, Johnny. So Marcena, he's on a mission. He did start in 2nd place. He's leading the championship into this round, but well, Silvestri is wanting to minimise the amount of points Silvestri will be taking out of his championship lead.
Yeah, well, he needs to at least finish P2, and that's going to be extremely difficult. I mean, what's that going to be? That's another 5 seconds he's got to P2, including passes as well. Hey, that's going to be a whopper of a challenge for Simone here. I tell you what, though, he is on the lap timing screens. He's matching the guys in front. But I don't even know if you can catch Richard Arnault in front for P4. That's the thing we're going to watch out for now. That was with an overtake, though. He did settle at 33.4, and Arnault with a clean track 33.5. So he might possibly get Richard. I don't know about Sadler and Talmon, who are in a perpetual battle for P2.
I think Richard Arnault is basically the limit of where he will be ending up today. I don't see him getting a 3rd place or even a 2nd place unless these two come together. And so going down the back straight, they've just gapped out a little bit. They've got about 8 minutes remaining of this race and headed into that final chicane once again. And Sadler really clambers over that first curb there, that right-hand curb. These are quite high curbs here as well, Johnny, so it's so easy to unsettle the car going over those curbs. Yeah,
you don't want to, definitely don't want to be using them consistently. They can even break the suspension. We've seen that with the anti-cut curbs at the brilliant track for an analogy here is the Circuit of the Americas. You hit one of those anti-cut curbs in the first sector in an open wheel car, your suspension damage, front wing is damaged, can really ruin your race just off one mistake. And these high curves work a little bit differently. You will roll over the top of them, but they can really unsettle the rear end. You can't apply the throttle as early as you would if you didn't touch the curbs. I do like Alex Sadler here. 7 minutes remaining in this race and 0.3 of a second right behind. This is the closest he's been to Talmon for quite a while.
Yeah, he's really going for it now. He's putting the pressure on. Maybe he was looking after his tyres for a little bit, just to conserve them so he could then push on towards the end of the race. And this is towards the end of the race now, heading in towards, as you say, that final 7 minutes. And look at Sadler really close up behind. Gets the tight run out of there. Doesn't run it too wide at the hairpin. That means he's got really good drive out there. And now in the slipstream, going down the back straight, but Talmon going early, going to the right early. He's going defensive. Sadler jumping in and out of that slipstream. Not alongside enough though, and will have to stay behind as they go through that final chicane once again to start yet another lap in this race. This will be lap number 13 for these guys as they're going along. And well, it's Silvestri who's still in the lead, but look at that, Sadler down the inside into this first chicane, and well, nicely done there, got the car stopped. That's what Stuart McFadden was looking for earlier on, and Sadler goes, here, this is how you do it, boss, and down the inside. He's still under pressure though from Talmon. Talmon won't want to give this one up yet. He wants that 2nd place. These two are battling out for the championship as well, the 2nd and 3rd in championship are these two, so really close championship rivals as well. But through that 2nd chicane now, but really good crisp move for Sadler, back end going out on him there. Really had to hold that one, and this is going to give Talmon the chance to look down the inside into this 3rd chicane now. Heavy on the brakes underneath that bridge, and well, Sadler loses the position after all that hard work, Johnny.
Yeah, he didn't even bother to defend the inside, so he just went straight left to the left-hand side. I would have at least maybe hugged the middle, been half a car length away from the left-hand side. Here he is up the inside, throws the car into the hairpin, and he gets that move completed. The exit's the important part here, as Talmon is all over the rear of Sadler across this back straight.
Yeah, Sadler didn't get the best exit. That's what you get for taking that tighter line. And here comes Dalmon now down the outside. The side-by-side is ahead towards that final chicane. It's going to be hard on the brakes. Who's the last of the late breakers into the chicane? It's going to be Sadler, who just holds on to that position for the time being. Behind them, Marceno has actually made the position up on Richard Arnaud, so up to 4th place for him. But Talmon now trying to make the move down the outside into turn 1. If he holds it there, he's got the inside for turn 2. He's just gets his nose chopped up a little bit there, but Sadler holding on to position for the time being as they're heading down towards this first chicane, this right-left. Got to be careful of that wall on the exit there, and well, around they go, through over the curb, rubbing against the wall there was Talmon, really close to that wall, and all this fighting has allowed Simone Maria Marceno to actually close up. He's now only 2.4 seconds behind here, Johnny.
Yes, how about this? This is a 3-horse race for the final podium positions, and those battles help Marceno close in, as you mentioned. 2.4 seconds the gap now to these two in front. I think Sadler's going to break away now, but Marceno's got a chance at a podium here with just over 3.5 minutes remaining. Talmon, that first chicane is really the killer for him. And if it wasn't for Sadler's mistake, he wouldn't have had a second bite at the battle. And last thing, bit of driver education for everybody out there. The first time Sadler made the move, as now he goes extremely defensive. He's used like, was he swerving across the back straight? What's going on here? So, stop the move. He's still swerving. We're going to talk about this. He's trying to distract me from what I'm trying to say. But anyway, Sadler's swerved, what was that, 7-8 times, Paul? And really did nothing because Talmon just said, I'm just going to keep driving in a straight line.
Well, here we go then. 3 minutes to go on the play clock. We're going to get about 2 laps remaining in this one. It's going to be tight when they go across the start and finish line through turn 1 into turn 2. Marceno is only 2.2 seconds behind now, so he's not really closing up fast enough to these two. But if these two get together, maybe make a little mistake and slow each other down, it's going to be right with them. But Talmon through that first chicane, going through the right-hander. It's a fast right-hander then. Onto the brakes heavy into this second gear, left-hander, and then right-hander, getting under power, trying to feather the throttle just to ease it in, because you get under power too soon, you just understeer wide or even spin it round. It's a tricky corner to get right. Heading down towards the third chicane, under the bridge, on the brakes, clip that right-hand curb, running over the left, running right out of the curb on the exit there, and heading down towards the hairpin once again. And Talmon is dropping back here, is about 0.8 of a second behind now. So as you say, Sadler just able to make the breakaway there, Johnny. And I think, to be honest, Talmon gets a little bit of a swap on there on the exit at the hairpin, and Marceno says, oh, I see a target in front of me now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this may be the final lap of the race. I'm so confused because Salvasti may cross the line.
I think we'll get 2 more laps.
Maybe. Here we go. Oh my God, I don't know what to say. So we didn't even know if this is the final lap of the race or not. I think
Arnaud! What's on earth has happened to him? Is at the chicane. He's had a spin at the chicane all on his own. He carried too much speed into the chicane there. I think he managed to keep it out the wall as well, so well done him. That's dropped him down to 7th place.
Oh man, and he did keep it out the wall, as you said, so no damage, but that's really cost him. You don't want something like that come the end of the event. Whether this is the final lap or not is the true question. Here's Marceno though for the podium, and he's got a real shot here into the second chicane.
Oh, he's really looking dangerous as Marceno. He was, like I say, qualified 2nd place on the grid. Well, going down towards the 3rd chicane now, under the GoDaddy banner. And look at him right up underneath the gearbox now. Darts out to the left. Tries to go around the outside. He'll be waiting patiently. But time is running out here. We've got 35 seconds left remaining in this one. As I say, we don't know whether it is the last lap of the race. But Marceno down into the hairpin we go. He's not going to make the move here. He's going to hold back. He's going to try and use the slipstream as they go down this back straight. He gets a good run at that final hairpin as the leader is heading down towards the final chicane. And Marceno, he's looking dangerous. He's going to try and make the move stick as, well, the leader, Silvestri, is going to come across the line. Will we get the checkered flag? We don't know as Marceno makes it through. Silvestri goes across the line, and we will have one more lap then of this race. Talmon has lost that final podium position here, and Marceno, well, look at this. Simon Maria Marceno, it's a comeback drive of the ages in this series so far. Oh, and Talmon into the wall. What on earth happened there, Johnny?
Oh, goodness me. Rear lock up again. It's the issue we saw with Cuoco, and Cuoco ironically goes past into fifth. And Talmon in the dirty air, you don't have no visual cues because you're looking straight up the rear of the car ahead. And if that was not the final lap, the race would have been over. So Talmon, potentially from a podium finish, now won't even finish the event. Goodness me.
Yep, he's taking a tour. So his race is run. And, well, look at this then. Well, we haven't really talked about him all race here, Johnny, but the leader coming into that final hairpin, great drive from him.
Yeah, and he crossed the line with about half a second to finishing the race. So if he slowed down by a second, he would have already won. So he's risking himself here on this final lap. But anyway, he's going to take the win most likely.
Yep, heading down that back straightaway there. And, well, Ioni Silvestri, fantastic drive from him once again. And once he was able to make that breakaway from Talmon and Sadler, he's just romped away with this one. Into the final chicane he goes then for the final time. Over the right, over the left, running out to the wall, and he's going to see the checkered flag, and he will take the second win of the championship for him. 2 races for him, 2 wins. Fantastic effort from him. Second place will come Alex Sadler. A great recovery drive there from Simon Maria Marceno, who's going to come across the line in third. Yalviza's going to end up in 4th place as he comes across the line. Oleg Foka in 5th place. And, well, the rest of the field will be coming through shortly. Stuart McFadden, by the way, has been battling away with Dennis Gerritsen as they're going through across the line now. And how will they see it? Will McFadden get ahead? No, he will not. So it's going to be Gerritsen who finishes ahead of McFadden then across the line. Really good racing as, well, we've got Zavati side by side going across the line there, and he gains a position then at the end. So really good racing from everybody here, and we will be able to run you through then your official results in this race. And what a race it was then for Ioni Silvestri, who wins this race 7 seconds ahead of his nearest contender, Alex Sadler. Simon Maria Marceno had that mistake at the end of the first lap, ends up in 3rd place, 11 seconds behind the race winner. Karelis Liovisa in 4th place with Oleg Foka in 5th. Richard Arnaud started 5th, ends up in 6th place after that mistake at the start of the last lap. Scott McIntyre 7th with Dennis Gerritsen able to move up into 8th place. Stuart McFadden, an impressive debut for him, up to 9th place at the end there with Longoni rounding out your top 10. And then Esterino, Savati, Brezina and Godfrey were all the drivers down to 14th who finished on that lead lap. Aurelien Talmon we saw have that mistake going into turn 1 on the final lap. He ends up a lap down, and then the car's not finishing at all. Scott Newton, Tanguy Pedrozili, Neil de Guzman, Vasco Nunes, and also Antolin. And, well, fantastic race there, Johnny. And, well, what a race it was, and some good battles.
Great battles, loved it, and a lot better than the race at Sebring, I'll tell you that much. Good fighting, and that's what Montreal produces. Love this racetrack. I'm looking forward to the Porsches now. If we get this from Formula Renault, oh my goodness, are we waiting for the Porsches next? Because that's going to be a thriller.
Yeah, so make sure you hang around then. That was round 3 of the Formula Renault Sim Cup here on RaceSpot Race Day. And, well, coming up after this break, we will have the Super Cup here on RaceSpot Race Day. All part of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series Day here. And, well, we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to RaceSpot Race Day here from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. We just had a fantastic Sim Cup race with the Formula Renaults, but now we're going to have the real fun of the circus, really, with the Porsche Super Cup here on your RaceSpot Race Day. And well, Johnny, looking at the championship, it's Jared Filsell who is leading that one. He is 11 points ahead of David Williams in second, the Joni Häkkinen in third, Mario Bertoletti in fourth, with Hietala in fifth place. A really close battle in the championship here. 11 points though, but Jared Filsell, he's done well so far. 2 wins out of 2.
Yeah, he's been so strong this year. I mean, it's been remarkable in a way, and he's got a huge group behind him in terms of talent. You know, you look at Klaus Kivickas, very popular name, David Williams, Joni Häkkinen, Mario Bertolotti as well as being consistent. So many other names which we don't even have time to mention. So Phil Sell's been on top of them all, and well deserved.
Certainly has. And well, we're just in a little bit of a practice session at the moment. Just while we get ready for qualifying of this race, and well, Johnny, we were able to sort of touch on it in the last race, in the Formula Renault race, but the challenges of this circuit in this Super Cup will be a little bit different. It's a heavier car, bigger car. You've not really got the draft maybe that some of the other cars may have, so really it's all going to be about making sure that you're able to get out the corners quick. But one thing that this car has an advantage over the Formula Renault, it's able to use those curbs a lot more aggressive.
Yeah, it is, and that's a big advantage. But as you mentioned, the weight of the car is the biggest disadvantage. I mean, 1.3 tons compared to the Formula Renault, a lot lighter. So there's going to be bigger braking zones too. It's going to help in terms of overtaking. The Formula Renault, you might have seen that really all the overtakes took place at either turn 2, pretty much basically the first corner on the racetrack, or it was the final chicane, and maybe a couple moves at the hairpin here and there, depending on mistakes. With the Porsche, you're looking at almost every single corner on this racetrack, Paul, as an overtaking spot, and that's what makes this car so much more entertaining. Then you add the fact that we've got this immense amount of talent in the field. It's, well, to say I'm looking forward to this event is the biggest understatement in human history.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a interesting challenge for these drivers then, as they're just going out on their warm-up lap for qualifying. And beautiful track, as we keep on mentioning, but those walls ominously close here. One little mistake and well, you end up causing damage. But these cars can take a bit more damage now, Johnny, and so we may see a little bit more bumper to bumper and maybe a little bit of door banging going on as well, as we've seen in previous races.
Yeah. And you know, people think it's bad. Every overtake has to be clean. I don't mind a little bit of, you know, door rubbing and this and the other. And you've got the best experience here in this commentary booth, Paul. You've driven the Kia, and I want to tell everybody in public, like, you are a savant with the Kia. You are so quick in that car. But and people sometimes find it not quick enough. Yeah. But anyway, you know, he's very good at flipping it too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. All I want to say is that it's nice to have a bit of door rubbing here and there. You know, it goes to show that there's a bit of bumping. It's a contact sport, basically, when you're in a touring car. It's not to the point where you take someone out, but it's to the point where it's a little bit rough here and there, but you're still standing in a straight line.
Well, if we're able to go on board with Jared Filsell then, as he goes down towards turn 1, I'll be able to talk you through this lap. So down to turn 1, hook that curb on the left, slow it right down for this tight right-hander. Get on the power nice and early, just don't let the back end swap around though, and then you're going to be on your brakes 200 metres before the corner, over the curb on the right and the left, running it out to the wall on the right there. In fact, he's rubbed it a little bit too much, through the fast right-hander, then onto the brakes, get it over to the right-hand side of the track again, through the left, through the right, is again, just get it onto the power, feed it in, so you can really get the good purchase on those tyres as you're heading down now towards this third chicane. You're going to be using that bridge as a braking marker, just braking just before he reaches that bridge, over the curb, almost riding completely over the curb on the right, over the curb on the left, now down towards the hairpin. You're going through this fast sweeping left-hander as you head towards the hairpin, onto the brakes he goes then, And yeah, he's got out of this one. He's aborted it, but through that hairpin he goes. And well, you see some of the challenges that these guys have, and you think, Johnny, he must have aborted it just because of him rubbing the wall at that first chicane.
Yeah, and he may have also, if he did touch the wall, the lap doesn't really count, does it, Paul? So
no,
he'll obviously have to back off, and right now he's just revving the engine here to begin another lap in the classiest way possible, and he cuts the whole corner. There we go.
Yeah, so Jared not having the best of times. I can tell Joni Häkkinen, by the way, quickly onto pole position. The cars are now starting to come through and register lap times here as well. Kivikas now, Klaus Kivikas in that VRS Quanta SimSpot car going on to pole position. So times able to tumble down now as we're heading down towards this... towards the end of this qualifying session. And of course, these drivers, they're pushing these cars to the limit. They're trying their best to get these laps in because, of course, they've only got 4 laps, 10 minutes to do it. And when you're talking about a 1 minute 35 lap, actually, that's not that far off the Formula Renault performance. So really good to see these guys pretty close to the Formula Renault performance here, Johnny.
Yeah, that's interesting as well. I think the engine comes into play because it's such a long straight here. I'm very surprised by that. You know, medium speed corners, when you have a track like this in Montreal, there's no fast sweeping high speed downforce corners, so most of it's the mechanical grip and the anti-roll bars coming into play, and that may be where the Porsche has well, not a slight advantage, but it minimizes the disadvantage they have because the Formula Renault doesn't get to use their downforce. It could be one thing that comes into play, but brilliant lap times. We're going to see a few drivers in the 34s hopefully too, as it's only the early stages of quali, and we should see the track rubber up, Paul, as time progresses.
But of course, you don't want the track rubbing up too much, because once it starts rubbing up too much, you start sliding about a little bit. So you want to get your lap in early, just to get a banker in, if nothing else, to then try and gain the advantage. Of course, with these Porsches as well, the tyres, they take a little bit longer to warm up as well, so you won't get the peak performance out of them on that first initial lap. But it's going to be tough, because you've got to keep those tyres fresh for when you do get the tyres fully warmed up here.
Yeah, and I remember David Coulthard once at Monaco, he'd set the car up for understeer on the Thursday because he knew by Sunday when the track would rubber in, it'd be perfectly dialed in. And that's what you get on street circuits like Montreal. iRacing not only laser scans the circuit, but they try to also ensure that the track surface is as accurately simulated as possible. If you go to another racetrack such as, I don't know, if you bring up, what's another racetrack? Silverstone. I can't even think of racetracks. If you go to like Silverstone, for example, more grip around there. But here's Evan Maillard straight to pole, 1 minute 35.1, 300s up on Klaus Kivikas.
Yeah, you look at how close those times are there, Johnny. They're really tight amongst the drivers now. A few more times coming in now. And one of the drivers that we saw in the last race of the Formula Renault, Stuart McFadden, he's, I've just noticed his name on the timing sheet here. So he's really given a double duty here, so fair credit to him for that one. Evan Maillard, as we're saying, on provisional pole position at the moment. David Williams, one of the championship contenders, the second place man, he's in 5th place, with 3rd place in the championship, Joni Häkkinen, 3rd place on the grid at the moment, so really close between those two. Well, what about there, Jared Purcell? Jared, he's coming down to the final chicane now. Clatters over those chicane curbs on that final chicane. He's going to come across the line now. Is this to start the lap or is this to finish a lap? We'll see. As he comes across the line, he sets a lap time and he's the first man into the 134. So 134.942. And, well, he just keeps on getting better and better, does Jared.
That's lovely. I mean, that to go into the 34s too. It's not over, though, so we're getting impressed now. But somebody could slot themselves up there into the first position, but Phil Sell, I mean, he's just been so dominant this series as well. Could have tagged the wall there at the exit of the first chicane. Not sure.
Maillard.
It was so close. Here's Maillard.
Yeah, he's coming across the line now. Will he improve on this lap? It was a 135 last time. He's not set a lap time this time, but Joni Häkkinen has set a faster lap time, a 135.058 for him. So he's able to improve, not able to get pole position, but he's jumped ahead of Evan Maillard now by 700ths of a second now. So really, we're getting a few fast times and pretty close times on this field. There's 1 second covering the top 14 drivers here Maxime Bryant going through the final chicane. He's going to be coming across to finish a lap here. Be it to start a lap or finish a lap. We'll see as he goes across the line. That's to start a lap, so he's going to be going onto a fast lap now. So Lando Norris then, final chicane for him. Of course, a well-known name in world motorsport as Lando Norris now is making his name for himself. He's starting a new lap here in that Fanatec car. Through the first couple of corners he goes now, and be interested to see how he gets on in this car today then, Johnny.
Yeah, we'll see how he goes. The Team Redline driver, also McLaren Formula One prospect, he goes through the first chicane. Trying to have some fun here in the Porsches. He was at Interlagos, wasn't there 2 weeks ago at Sebring, so he's currently down in the mid-pack there. Got a lot of room to improve. And just looking at the rest of the front order, Maillard's still out there, and he's coming towards the end of the chicane. Here we go, bouncing over the curb. Maillard almost went 45-degree angle there, Paul, going into the final chicane. We'll see if it helps his lap time, though, as he crosses the line. This may be an invalid lap, though. No, well, it's not.
He sets a lap time, but it's not an improvement. And, well, time is running out. There's only a minute left in qualifying, so he won't be able to get enough a lap in here. Klaus Kivikas is going into the final chicane, not the final chicane, the third chicane of the lap. Going right over those curbs then in that VRS Quantum Sport livery car down towards the hairpin. He goes once again. And, well, down onto the brakes hard, getting on the power, not letting the car back end slide. That's good driving from Klaus then as he's heading down the back straight away there. And well, he's just got 2 more corners to go, but the most crucial of corners here as he's heading down. And well, he's got to pick his braking spot perfectly onto the brakes then. Into that chicane, clouts the curb on the left. Over the curb on the exit then, right up to the wall, is going to come across the line. Will he improve his time from a 1:35.1, 1:35.0? So he manages to jump up. That's almost exactly the same time as Johnny Heikkinen as well. Johnny, why don't you take us through the grid?
Yeah, brilliant stuff there. But so far, Jared Purcell holds pole position, 34.9 for him, and he is currently on the run for 3rd win in a row here. 3rd win to start the season, but can anybody stop him? Heikkinen joins him on the 2nd row, followed by Klaus Kivikas. Evan Maillard there on the 2nd row of the grid. There's Jack Sedgwick and Maxime Brent there starting 5th and 6th. Brokeman Williams starting from 7th and 8th, the 2 teammates, followed by Ross Balfour and Mario Bertolotti, who round out the top 10. Rest of the grid on your screen as well. You can see down the order. Kane Kojima starting from 13th. Lando Norris right behind him. He'll be in 15th. Tragutha. A couple of other names as well there. Mark McDonald will start all the way back down in 22nd. And rounding out the field, 32 car field here today. Dan Blake and Bruno Camor in the 16th row. Paul, brilliant race coming up as usual. And what's the biggest challenge I'm trying to establish for these guys right now? Because Purcell, to me, seems the biggest challenge to take a 3rd win in a row. Can anybody stop him? He's already got a 10th-and-a-half advantage in quali.
Well, it'd be nice to see somebody sort of step up to the plate and really challenge him for the race win. But to be honest, with the way he's been, he's certainly going to be proving quite the challenge here as we're counting down the seconds towards the start of this race here. And, well, these guys are getting all set for 30 minutes around here, and the biggest challenge, I would say at the moment, is just getting into turn 1 and turn 2 and making it through cleanly. There's a lot of cars here on the grid, and everybody just waiting now. We're going to be counting down 10 seconds to the start of this race then. Those drivers looking to that starting gantry. The engine revs will rise very shortly. We'll be getting set for this round 3 of the RaceSpot Super Cup here on RaceSpot Race Day. Engine revs are up there. The green light is on. Away we go from the start. Then it will be Jared Filsell who gets a fantastic start from that front pole position. And look at that, into third place is that Quantum Sim Sports car. And that is Klaus Kivikas holding on top position. But Evan Maliad holding the inside line. Will we all get through here? I'm hearing bits of car rubbing and bits of bodywork contact. But everybody so far able to make it through the first corners. Then Evan Maliad up into third place with Klaus Kivikas in fourth, who could have crossed the curbing a little bit then. We've got two wide action further back, but they're all settling down here as we go through here. And really good start so far. Just one car didn't make it away from the start. Stuart McFadden didn't get away from the start, but everybody else here, Johnny, so far keeping it clean here.
Yeah, Tommy Oscar, though, second chicane, forced out onto the dirty rubber of the racetrack. Who's that up the inside? Lando Norris. He's got four wheels on the grass almost trying to make that move. That was brave, and I don't even know if it was legal at the same time. And he's turned around by Oscar. That's going to be Norris almost into the wall there. And you can see just a shambles of a race start down.
Oh, big crash behind them. Well, one of those cars was Flavio Xavier. He went almost flying into the wall there on that one. Big accident then. And, well, not a lot that car 23 could do about that. That's Arthur LeHook and not able to get out of the way. But anyway, as we end lap one then, over the curbs at the final chicane, it is Jared Filsell in the lead. That third place car of Evan Maliad getting a real twitch on there as he comes at that final chicane. But across the line, and it is Filsell, Heikkinen, Maliad, Kivikas, Sedgwick, Bryant, Brookman, Balfour, Williams and Bertolotti. That is your top 10 at the moment, but good grief, Johnny. Look at how close this field is as they go across the line. Top 19, top 18 covered by 10 seconds.
Yeah, you get that in touring cars because of the high braking distances and the fact that you can keep close to the driver in front without all the dirty air getting involved. I did like Mallard's start there from fourth place. He got off the line really well. We saw that last race too, don't forget, Paul, in the Formula Renaults. Fourth place, got a great jump off the line. Maybe there's just a bit of extra grip there on that line of the racetrack, which really helps those drivers out.
We'll be keeping an eye out that then for the third and final race of RaceSpot RaceDay, of course, the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series race, round 3 coming up later on after this race. And well, it's heading down to the hairpin once again. We've got somebody round. That's Riley Blythe who's around, and he's stuck in the middle of the road there. Oh, what on earth happened to him? It was contact. Oh no, he lost control of it going into that third chicane, and then there's a big hit on him. And he's tried to stay out of the way. He's back to the pit, so he's looking to be out of this one. Jared Filsell not able to pull away like he was in previous races. So Joni Heikkinen is really putting the pressure on there. And Filsell, look at how much curb he takes on that left-hander of that final chicane there, Johnny.
Yeah, that was that was entertaining. We've seen drivers almost go 45 degrees up into the air. And you only really see that at a circus or something, but we're seeing it today at the Porsches. Brilliant racing so far in these early laps. Couple of good battles here and there. Couple of really clumsy contacts through the field, and we had a very optimistic move from Lando Norris, what we saw. So regardless of that, though, as I said, these drivers are going to maintain, like, they're going to be really close to each other, front and rear, just because you're able to maintain that distance with the higher braking zones. Here's Carmo, though, all the way down in 21st.
Joseph Burton Harris had a moment down at turn 1, lost control, but look at the Carmo now. He's right behind Burton Harris, actually, is Bruno De Carmo as they're heading into that chicane. We've got a car there, slow on the exit there. It's Dane Warren on the exit that chicane. That's just held up De Carmo then and not able to make it past. So bit of drama then for Warren as he was heading through that second chicane. You look at the damage on the front of his car. We've got cars cutting right across the chicane there. It's one of the Apex Racing UK cars. That's number 71, and that's Will Tregurtha. Then he's running slowly. He's got a slow down penalty, and he's trying to keep out of everyone's way as they're heading into the hairpin now. De Carmo trying to get down the inside of Tregurtha, not able to make the move stick though.
Yeah, Bruno, come on, get in the slipstream. He's got a great chance here to get into the top 20. And that was Tregurtha just late on the brakes, couldn't get the move done in time. And, well, there you go. not able to capitalize on being in the mid pack there. Back near the front as well. Phil Sell, you mentioned, hadn't pulled away. Well, look at the gap now. So half a second. It's confusing here because it's not like this isn't Formula V's or Formula 4s or something where you have the slipstream keeping you in touch with everyone in front. It's the Porsches. You know, it's a different story. As I say that, Häkkinen behind in P2 hits the wall, didn't he?
Yeah, scraped the wall there. Look at it. He's got damage all down the right-hand side of his car. The front wing is just bent in, and the rear wing has got a little bit of damage there as well. So that's going to cause him a little bit of issues, but it's not as bad as, say, something like a Formula car, something that uses those wings to a great aerodynamic effect. So he'll be able to carry on like this and maybe affect him towards the end of the race with the slightly additional tyre wear as they head in here. But look at this queue of traffic here then. It's the top 5 who are pretty close together, but Maxime Bryant and Rens Broekman and David Williams, they aren't that far away either. So a good queue of traffic here as they're going down into the final chicane once again, Johnny.
Yeah, final chicane. Such a difficult corner. You know, the worst part is if you had to make a pit stop in this race, I mean, it'd be so confusing because some drivers would be really throwing it into the final chicane, trying to get the car stopped in time. Other drivers would just completely ignore it and go straight to the pits. That's what makes this pit entry so difficult. Luckily, no pit stop today in this 25-minute event.
Look at how close Häkkinen is now. Got a really good run out that final chicane.
Yeah.
And Phil Sell under serious pressure. We've not seen him have this type of pressure all season, really. And Häkkinen is giving it absolutely everything here, Johnny.
Yeah, he's doing well. I should have said 30-minute event before, not 25, but oh, look how close he is at the exit, and that's Phil Sell touching the wall the same way Häkkinen did earlier on last lap. So it's just so difficult to follow a car here. You just can't see anything. You can't take the risks because there's minimal runoff. You see walls around you, grass as well. So if you do make a mistake by, let's say, 1 meter, you could be straight off the racetrack. You could be touching a high curb. Could really be unsettling that car. But here they come now, third chicane, and just no look here for Häkkinen.
It's like a really fast Monaco, isn't it, with the way that the walls are so close in. Maybe not as close as Monaco, but it's still pretty close in with hardly any runoff there as Häkkinen trying his best to get the run out of that final hairpin, Johnny.
I mean, it's just a hairpin. There's so many lines you can take as well. You'll see anyway, if you get close enough to the driver in front, if you're a trail breaker and the driver in front likes to brake early and then take a wide angle, you need to adjust your style because if you're a trail breaker, you'll be held up. Here he goes into that final chicane. I think Häkkinen's got all the advantage here. He's more confident under the brakes, gets a poor exit. But I think right now, the only difference between him and P1 is that he just can't get past. That's easy said than done. That's a stupid thing to say, but you get what I mean.
It's the classic Murray Walker line. We're treading dangerous waters here. We're heading towards Murrayisms once again. But yeah, these guys really pushing it, and they're just starting to make a breakaway there at the front as we're looking further down the order now. And it is Quintana and Nascimento. They're battling it out further down your order. That's over 21st and 22nd position, and in towards turn 2 now. A little bit of damage on the back of Quintana, his car there, the number 32 car. And Nascimento, well, he's having to be patient, but he's trying to make it through. And, well, not able to make it past for the time being then as well. The 32 car just ends up rubbing the wall a little bit on the exit of that first chicane, Johnny.
Yeah. And we've seen so many drivers caught out by that all weekend. It's not so difficult to not hit the wall there, to be honest with you. I'd expect them more to hit the wall on the exit, on the run to the hairpin there, so the exit of the third chicane. That's really the corner where the exit sort of cuts in on you. Turn one's, the exit of the first chicane's got a small runoff there. But regardless of that anyway, I'm the one in the commentary booth for a reason, because I sucked throughout my career. So, anyway, now the field's starting to extrude, lap after lap. Gap after gap, starting to get bigger and bigger. And it's right now, if it's not a race of attrition, you're going to have to earn your moves.
Well, you just look at the front there. That gap has now pulled out, and Phil Sell is making a breakaway of it now. He's up to a second is that gap. So definitely a good effort from him. Maliad in third place, not able really to get close enough to challenge for the time being for that second place, as Klaus Kivikas there right behind Maliad now. So some really close battling. Ross Balfour is pretty close at the moment for that. Oh, look at in front, Kane! Round it goes through that first chicane. The number 51 car loses control, and he's out. He's taking a tour back to the pits here, Johnny.
Yep, and then where was that? That was the first chicane. So he's he bounced over the curbs too much. Suspension couldn't handle it, and that's nothing you can do really in terms of setup. He just took too much. Even went onto the grass as well. You could see the car still oscillating too while he made the mistake. So that's just where he couldn't apply the throttle. All the weight shifts to the rear, and it's just a very poor mistake from Kane Kugima, who's a very talented driver in any touring car. So surprising to see him make that mistake.
We've got a three-car battle on as well for 17th place. Will Tregurtha, Bruno De Carmo and Tommy Osgaard. And, well, Tregurtha's got a lot of damage on that car. He's really seemed to be struggling away as they're heading down to that hairpin once again. And De Carmo going around the outside. And, well, look at now. Osgaard trying to get the better run out of the corner. They get on the power, and now Osgaard is the one on the attack of Bruno De Carmo as they're heading down this back straight. The three-car train, as I say, for that 17th place as Kivikas has dropped positions. He's down to 7th place now, so from 4th to 7th, and I believe he may have cut across the chicane, has he? I'll have to have a look at that one. But it appears it's something he had to slow down for a reason, and well, we're still looking at that battle line. De Carmo and Osgaard down into that first corner. It was the last of the late breakers, and well, De Carmo, is he able to hold on to it? They're still going side by side here, Johnny. Great racing. I think De Carmo's just ahead of Osgaard now.
Yeah, Osgaard had the wider, longer outside line, so it's going to take him more track distance to cover, and he's going to lose the advantage eventually. There's Bruno De Carmo into P18. Osgaard backed off the throttle there mid-apex, so didn't get the best run going through turn number 6. Here they come through 7 and 8. Good exit there from De Carmo, and he breaks away just ever so slightly. So now Tregurtha's next on his list, and Bruno De Carmo's having a quietly great race here, you could say.
Well, that's it. He started at the back with no qualifying time. He's now in 18th. A really good run from De Carmo as they're heading down towards the hairpin. His next target then is Will Tregurtha in that 17th place. And, well, through the hairpin they go. And of course, we got to meet Will Tregurtha at the Autospot show. He took part in our little race that we had between the Apex drivers on the iRacing stand at the Autospot show. So good to meet Will as well. They go down that back straightaway now in towards the chicane, and De Carmo not close enough this time by to make the move down into that chicane, but he's setting his stall out now, Johnny. He's really he's got the pace here, and he's really pushing it right to that wall, and not able to make it close enough so far. Yeah,
so that final chicane can end your race. So you really don't. I've seen this through telemetry. A lot of the time people say, you don't win the race through certain corners just because if you try to push too hard, you'll hit the wall of champions, so you've got to play it safe. I've seen through telemetry of my own and through teammates, sometimes your best lap in testing, you gain 3 or 4 tenths compared to an average lap through that final chicane there, the wall of champions chicane. And it can make a huge difference. Here's De Carmo though. I mean, Tregurtha's seriously on the back foot here, and then Bruno De Carmo, starting from last, is having a fun race there. Lots of overtakes involved. But here's a chance here, Paul, going into turn 9. Can he get it done? That's the question.
Well, you pose the question. He's looking, but he's going to hold back for the time being as De Carmo, but really piling that pressure on. And by the way, towards the front of the field, Rens Brockman, David Williams and Klaus Kivikas giving a VRS Quanda SimSpot demonstration for 5th, 6th and 7th as they're heading through towards the end of the lap. But De Carmo looking to the inside. Tregurtha very slow on the apex there. Will then get the better run at the corner. Well, that caused all manner of trouble for Osgaard behind, actually, because he had to get right out of that one, Johnny.
Yeah, that was weird. It's like, I don't know what happened there. I think De Carmo was just like, hey, I'm not waiting any longer here. I'm just going to go up the inside. He left the door open. I don't blame him.
Rens Brockman's lost a bunch of positions here.
Yeah.
They're down to 9th place now, so I was saying about how they were pretty close together, and do you know what? He's done that all himself. He's just put a wheel on the grass going into turn 1. And it's that one little mistake. Keeps it out the wall, so he's able to carry on with no damage. One little mistake like that can cost you many positions, and in this Super Cup race like this, it has cost him a lot of positions.
Yeah, you talk about straightening the car up in time.
Oh, we've lost
that's so important
as well. At some point, yeah, I think he's just a few technical problems for Ross with that one. We appear to have lost him. It's unfortunate for Ross to have some technical problems then. But, well, looking down, and, well, we've still got that battle going on. Tregurtha and Bruno DeCarmo heading down towards that turn 9 once again. And DeCarmo now, you just get the feeling he's getting a little bit impatient. It's actually Evan Maliad and Jack Sedgwick going side by side, going down the back straight. This is a battle for 3rd place. And Evan Maliad, who got that really good start from 4th place, is now having to hold on, cling on for every chance that he can of keeping that 3rd place. And he's going to hold it down into the chicane. Is he going to get a worse run out that chicane? No, that's the question. The answer is possibly yes. Actually, no, he doesn't. Jack Sedgwick not quite close enough. But Evan Meliard not really got the pace at this stage of the race with another 14 minutes to go, Johnny.
Yeah, but Sedgwick was very timid going through that final chicane. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think he could have stayed a lot closer to Evan. Let's see anyway what happens here across this next lap. Plenty of time remaining, 13 minutes. No need to panic anyway. Cedric in that 69 car. And back down the order though, I mean, Bruno DeCarmo is the one giving us all the action here. And I want to see when he can get it done. Will Tregurtha just looks out of place right now and out of shape on the racetrack. Into turn 1, you saw a bit of white smoke coming up from that Apex car. And they come through the first chicane, up close to the wall on the throttle, mid-apex through to gain as much lap time as possible. Differential doing its work as well. Straighten the car up for this braking zone. Then using the inside curb as well. Outside curb on the throttle when you straighten the car up. Sorry, excuse me, when you don't straighten the car up. So you want to be on the throttle early. And here he comes on this little back straight here. Short little break for the drivers. And it's so tight going into this, pretty much the final, I'd say the 3rd chicane actually. In the final chicane of this middle part of the sector. There's a slow car as well that they're going to make their way past. Yeah,
that's car number 19. So that's one of the runners who... in fact, it's Joseph Barton Harris, actually. That was a change of position there. So Tregurtha and DeCarmo able to get ahead. So what happened to Burton Harris, should I say, there? And that one will, well... It was running slow. We've still got battling going on further up as well. But these guys, they're giving us a show today here, further down the order here, Johnny.
And in the final chicane, DeCarmo did the same thing he did a couple laps earlier, where he tried to go up the inside because Tregurtha was so slow on the apex. And here he comes now out of the final chicane. He's got a shot here finally for P15 alongside each other in the braking zone. DeCarmo keeps the speed and makes the move. Brilliant, robust overtake. And there's Bruno DeCarmo up to 15th. Most entertaining guy in the race. Slap the sticker on that number 15 car.
Yeah, certainly driver of the race so far in this one as, well, Burton Harris tried to follow through and, well, not able to follow through after that move then. So DeCarmo will have to see whether he can pull away. Burton Harris losing another position. In fact, he's pulling over. He's going to be out this race. He must have damaged his car. And it must be on that wall on the exit of the first chicane. No, he's cut across the chicane. The first chicane. And do you know what? He's decided to pull it over. He's out this one.
He's out. So damage definitely. Most rational thing to do for Burton Harris there. The number 19.
Oh, Tregurtha. Look at Tregurtha. He's giving it back. He's wanting that position back. And to be honest, the wider line's not always a bad one, because then you can do that. You can cut back on the inside to try and get the run there, but DeCarmo able to get on the power nice and early and down the back straight. But look at how close he is now in the slipstream here. Tregurtha is going to have to go the long way around here, but we have seen people do it down into this final chicane then. Last of the late breakers, hard onto the brakes now, and it is DeCarmo who just able to sneak ahead, but Tregurtha, oh, into the wall goes DeCarmo. And that's going to allow Tregurtha to go through. And well, back through goes Will. Does he still side by side in towards turn 1? Tacoma, we saw him make the move this way on the last lap, and he's going to hold on to the position this time. Here comes Tommy Osgaard to say thank you very much, Will. I'll take that spot now. Yeah,
it's like Groundhog Day, same battle, another lap around, and Osgaard takes advantage of it too in the 66. So Tommy there. Oh, and that's a great move. Will! Whoa! Whoa, brilliant save there. So that's got me off my chair. Nobody can see it. I just stood up while that happened.
Painting pictures with words, that's what you're doing there, Johnny.
Yeah.
David Williams and Klaus Kivikas, by the way, pretty close together for 5th place at the moment, but Williams needs a good result here because he's second in the championship. Heikkinen, who was only going into this round only 5 points behind him, is actually in second place in this race. So Williams not having a good race in terms of his chances for the championship, but it's still early in the championship here. We are round 3 of a 12-round season, so well, it's definitely certainly something that we'll be looking into. But yeah, definitely great stuff so far. What we're going to do here is we're just going to quickly maybe just step aside just for a moment here, because we've got something something new to give you a sneak peek at.
On January 1st of this year, we made a major announcement when we added Porsche as our newest partner. The first car we added to the sim was the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup, and at the same time we announced that we would be adding several more Porsches in the future. For the next Porsche, we wanted something special, something unique, something that hasn't been seen in a racing sim before, and something definitively Porsche. Today, that Porsche is here. So here we are in northern New Hampshire, where we found the perfect diesel Porsche. It's a model P133, and we're super excited to be able to scan it today. That should take us about 8 hours or so. After that, we'll do photo reference and sound recording. Then we're back to the office to build this sucker. When we're done with this project, we'll have the most authentic tractor ever built. Take that, farming simulator. It'll take some time and a lot of company resources, but we can definitely say this Porsche will be ready to launch sometime in the future.
Well, what a special treat for you to see there. Absolutely fantastic. Big drama. Will Tregurtha has just lost control and has put it in the wall. He is out of the race here with just over 6 minutes remaining. But it's a battle here for, let's have a look. Well, it is P13 and 14. No, P12. Good if I could read today. P12 and 13. Matt McDonald and Corey Errol Slade then. And well, look at that, down the inside goes Errol Slade, trying to make the move, a little bit of rubbing there on the exit of the hairpin, but these two have been battling for the last couple of laps here, Johnny, and they're just not giving up, and it's no holds barred, as I think Brendan have come on, did he just have a moment at the hairpin? He did, but he's able to get back up and running. But these two, they've been giving it hammer and tongs going down into that chicane now.
Yeah, well, here comes Corey Errol Slade, so close to the wall. McDonald, though, stays clean on the exit. Here they come towards the second corner. and the long braking distance. You can see the difference between these cars and the Formula Renaults. These guys have to brake obviously a lot earlier because of the weight. Spoke about that earlier. And four-wheel drift there from Corey Errol Slade. He's got a very cool name, it has to be said. I must say, actually, Paul, before we focus back on this race, I've seen a lot of things in iRacing. I've seen Martin Kroenke win a championship. I've seen some brilliant cars released. What we just witnessed is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. And I'm looking forward to it, I'll tell you that much.
I can't wait. I really cannot wait. But yeah, certainly going to be very interesting, that's for sure. But we're heading down towards the chicane, and do you know what? Errol Slade's just dropped back a little bit here. Rens Broekman's really close up behind. Is that Maxime Bryant? There it is. So Bryant now under pressure from Rens Broekman as on the exit the hairpin as they're going down the back straight towards the final chicane. Just over 4 minutes remaining in this one here, and well, Johnny, there's still plenty happening. It's 28. That's a big crash there for Corey Errol Slade, and it's on the exit at the hairpin. He got down the inside there, Johnny, and then, well, just no room was given.
Yeah, not really hard to judge that one. That's just very clumsy between the two. McDonald as well. It seems that there was no room. This is something that stewards have to take some time to really find out what exactly happened. I think Errol Slade just should have given it a bit more room. McDonald stayed straight. That's what happened there. So I might have to pitch that on Errol Slade.
I mean, the thing is, the track comes in there on the left-hand side as well. So you can't just keep on going straight there if you slide. You've got to go over to the right as well. So, you know, a little bit more racing room required from those guys. And that's what's happened there. So, well, we've got a little bit of spread out gaps here. The closest battle, really, Evan Meliad and Jack Sedgwick, but they've got over 3/4 of a second between them at the moment. Although Rens Broekman still putting the pressure on here, and he's actually going to go side by side here. And Broekman is looking to the outside into the hairpin. That inside line is a good one, though, to try and hold on to. Broekman trying to carry it all the way around the outside, and you could see him get the job done here. He's going to get the better run out that hairpin. Great driving there, Johnny, and that's fantastic work from Broekman to get that position.
Yeah, and Brienne hit the wall at the exit of that chicane, so that was the turn 10 chicane, and it bent his rear wing slightly. He has to be very cautious on the brakes, too. And when you're that close, you might as well just back off before the braking zone because you don't get the best of exits. I think that's over. Rens Broekman now. E8 for him. That's signed, sealed, delivered. I want to go back to the hairpin. It was the battle between, was it Dakama and Tragutha? Remember how Will would pause on the apex? And that may go down to maybe Dakama, the front weight he's got on the car, because you're able to carry more speed into the apex. Differential's a big part too, Paul, we know. If you adjust the diff and you're able to just carry that extra apex speed, but that was the difference between those two. I wanted to bring that up for 10 minutes, but I forgot.
It's all right. There's been so much going on that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's why.
It's hard to get that comment in, but yeah. I mean, it's a good defensive ploy as well. If you know you're not going to catch up to the car in front and you've got a car hounding you behind you, just holding it on the apex there and just deliberately, not braking, but just deliberately not getting on the power straight away. It's a good way of trying to disrupt the guy behind you who's trying to get on the power nice and early, just to stop them from accelerating away, and then you can just get that little bit of a gap away from the corner.
Yeah, well, I just think that's true what you said, but I think for Tragutha, it's just his setup and driving style. I've had times into the Hockenheim hairpin where I was like the quickest through the hairpin, not over the whole lap, but just because I used to have the highest front wing angle to rear wing angle ratio of anybody. And when you have that, you're able to carry so much more apex speed. So whether that helps lap time's a different story. Differential also comes into play. It's all about driving style. But as you said, also holding the apex there at the hairpin really helps in terms of defending. And you Kia guys are so smart when it comes to racecraft. I love it.
Blimey, that's the first time I've heard me being called smart. Well, one man who is smart is at the front there, and it's Jared Filsell, as he's on the final lap now. Just 32 seconds remaining in this one. He's going through that second chicane, so this is definitely the white flag lap here. We've got no worries of this being the last lap compared to that last race in the Formula Renault. Well, once again, Johnny, he's able to get away at the front. Only a second and a half, though, so not able to blast away like he has done previously, but still a very good, smart drive from him.
Yeah, great race from him, and well-deserved as well. He's going to take his third win. Oh, well, we don't know, but, you know, he will most likely take his third win as he comes to the hairpin now. This is close. I like this. So next round out at Road America, we're going to see whether or not anybody, including Haken and Mallard, whether they can get even closer to Filsell and take the victory. But right now, he can't be knocked off that top step.
Yep, so he's heading down towards the final chicane then. And, well, it's been a masterful display. We've hardly really talked about him. And, well, through the chicane he goes then, over the curbs, and it's going to be down across the line. He's weaving his way across the line. He knows he's won round 3 of the RaceSpot Super Cup then. Fantastic win for Jared Filsell then. Joni Häkkinen in second place, and Evan Maillard able to hold on to that third place. And, well, at the end there, David Williams just dropping the position to Klaus Kivikas on that final lap then. And, well, the rest of the field is going to come through here. Bit of an odd race for Tommy Østgaard. A lot of damage on that car, but he's going to come through down in what looks to be 13th position. And, well, the rest of the field will be coming through. No real dramas for anybody. So we will be able to take you through your results here then for this round 3 of the RaceSpot Super Cup here on RaceSpot Race Day, iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV. And it is a race win once again for Jared Filsell then. Taking this one in the end by half a second. He eased off towards the end of the race there. Evan Maillard ahead of Joni Häkkinen. Third place for Evan Maillard, ahead of Jack Sedgwick in 4th. Klaus Kivikas then in 5th, with David Williams in 6th place. It's a gain of 2 positions, but I don't think he'll be happy with that result. Mario Bartoletti started 10th, finished in 7th, so good result for him there. Rens Brockman in 8th, with Maxime Bryant in 9th. And Johansson Govan in 10th place. The rest of the field going through then: Daniel Bennyfield, Blake Neck, Tommy Østgaard, Matt McDonald, Bruno De Carmo finishing in 15th place. Manuel Sanchez, Andreas Quintana, in 17th, with Michal Latishov in 18th place. Well, further down the cars, many cars didn't finish this one, and one car did not take the start, which was Stuart McFadden. But, well, Johnny, good exciting race once again in your Porsche Super Cup.
Yeah, loved it. And we get this action all the time. The start was a little bit shaky from the middle part of the field, but we had some good action here and there, a couple of very clumsy contact as well throughout the field. But we have to enjoy Jared Filsell now on the main straight, who makes contact with the wall on his burnouts, but we'll pretend we didn't see it. I've already mentioned it, but everybody just forget. He's enjoying this quite well as he hits the wall again. 3 wins out of 3.
There we go. He's got it now.
He's got it now. There we go. Good stuff. Can I just quickly say though, I'm not just saying this for the Australia, bias or anything like that. He's driving really well, and even though he only finished, just over, I say under a second for the win, he was swerving across the line. Did win by over a second, and it was just, he's still in front. He still took the win, and they've got to keep working hard to knock him off the top step. Right.
Well, next time out, it is Road America on the 22nd of April, and that's a completely different challenge for the Super Cup and for the Sim Cup as well. Well, we'll have to see them next time out. Don't forget that the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is coming up in just a few moments' time, so make sure you check it out from RaceSpot Race Day for the Sim Cup and the Super Cup. From myself, Paul Smith, from Johnny Simon, and from Hugo Lewis, it's goodbye for now.